and protocol for connection.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I welcome you all for this 8-day program on this NEP 2020, and I think all of you know that the government has already implemented, and there are a lot of flexibility, multiple late multiple exit, those kind of flexibilities are there in the undergraduation program. And there are different topics on which every day we will have a session of about 3 hours. So today my topic will be student diversity and inclusive education. And most importantly, just before starting my presentation, it is important that I introduce myself. So I am an associate professor of chemical engineering at IIT BHU, and for last 7-8 years I am involved with this teaching learning cell TLC, because I believe that this is all about individual learning and sharing, okay, the dissemination. Because initially we attended the lectures by different professors of other IITs who are the members, who have been the members of their TLC, especially IIT Madras and IIT Delhi. So we learned a lot, and we understood that since BHU is a 100-year-old university, and we earlier we have been IT BHU, and we are carrying a very rich legacy of imparting education. So IIT BHU should also have a very robust, teaching learning center. So I thank the coordinator, Dr. Shyam Kamal, and Professor Mishra, who is also the co-coordinator, for giving me this opportunity to discuss with you my experiences about how do we tackle the student diversity, and how do we bring inclusivity into our curriculum, and in the context of NEP 2020, how we can make the classroom more inclusive, more enjoyable and fun, and which can also promote learning for the students. So prior to that, let's quickly talk about myself. I have done my BTech bachelor's from Jadavpur University, Kolkata, and then MTech PhD from IIT Kanpur, and I'm here at IIT BHU for last more than 9 years. Means in next May I'll be completing 10 years, and we have to do a lot of teaching and as well as research. Biomass to biofuels is my research area, and today I will be discussing from my own that presentation file, and we will have a small break around about 5:30, so that we can take a small break. You all can take a break, and then I will encourage you that means when I will be opening the PPT, then probably I may not be able to understand who is raising their hand or raising a query. So it will be really nice if you please note down the questions and queries. So around 5:20 or so, you'll I'll try to address. And here basically I believe that we all are colleagues. You are also professors of some different colleges or universities. So we all are experiencing these topics into our day-to-day learning and delivery of our lectures. So your experience, it will be a very valuable addition for myself, and also I will share my experience, what we observe in IIT, and also some other experiences which I have gained from the previous lectures and the participants and their queries, their challenges. People from Jammu Kashmir and some remote areas, they are facing a difficulty of getting adequate number of teachers or professors for different subjects, where the students are allowed to take a lot of different subjects from different diverse backgrounds, but it will be difficult, or sometimes it is challenging for the colleges or universities to arrange for different professors of different domains or different expertise into the same campus. So those challenges are also a very good learning point for us, and we will try to think how we can make it a better place and implement NEP 2020, so that the students can make the best use of this recommendation by the Government of India. Okay, so let me quickly open my presentation, and let us start. So, is the presentation slide, are you able to read from the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, see, the title is like that: embracing student diversity and fostering inclusive education. So, I'm still, finally, I'm just before start, I just want to say that I thank the TLC of IIT BHU. And under this Ministry of Education, Government of India, we have this MM-TTP, Malaviya Mission Teacher Training program, and we are a nodal center, and we are we faculty members are the resource persons recognized by UGC. So we are happy that the UGC has given this responsibility on IIT BHU, and we are with the support of our staff, a few faculty members and a few staff members, we are running it very much successfully for the last a little bit more than 2 months, I believe. Okay, so let us slowly develop the subject, the different definitions we will understand, and I will try to bring in some examples so that we all understand the different topics which is required for us to understand the different, varied or diverse group of students into our classroom. So this is a pictorial representation of student diversity. So it is, in general, people develop the idea or perception that this student diversity means the presence of some student who might be, having some physical, challenges or some physical disability or things like that. But in a broader sense, we mean that the student, there might be some students with a, learning speed which might be different from another student with a higher learning speed. So how to make the classroom very much congenial, very much suitable for that particular student with a lower, learning speed, to be able to understand, and feel comfortable, feel valued into the classroom. So when you talk about diversity, you will see that there are students from different communities, speaking different languages, and especially if you belong to any, say national institute, you will see it very, it's a normal practice that you will see that in a classroom, the students who will be from maybe, South India, maybe Assam, Gujarat, Maharashtra, or many other places. So they will bring different cultures, different languages, different preferences, different perceptions. So and among them, we have to make a coherent group within the classroom, and then we will be able to impart the knowledge of this education of a particular subject, transfer the knowledge in a particular subject to the class with success, so that they will also learn and do much better in the exams. So this banner in the right hand side, you see that this represents this inclusive education. So this is called education and not segregation. That means the proper meaning of education is that we don't want to segregate the student with some kind of challenges or some kind of special needs. So nowadays, disability is basically termed as a negative word. So you'd like to say that they are students with some special needs. So the education will bring them together, all the students in the same classroom, and the teacher has to learn how to impart the knowledge in that particular setting. Okay, so that's basically part of the inclusive education. So we have this diversity, and at the same time keeping the students together who are basically from diverse groups, and developing a mutually respectable peer group into the classroom, and then imparting the knowledge. That will be that can be considered as a success of the inclusive education, and that will be an example. Okay, so the different attributes of diversity and all those things we will slowly understand. Okay, so so some of the expert comments about diversity I would like to bring to your notice. One best-selling author, Catherine Palseifer, and she wrote many books, and she once mentioned that without diversity, life would be very boring. So we can also understand that suppose if there is a jungle and we see only lions, or say only giraffe, so we might think that it's basically boring, because there is no animal having some kind of different attributes, or other species like birds, like reptiles and things like that, or butterflies. So just one second. So in the case of human race also, that if we don't have diversity, life would be very boring. That is possible for us to comprehend, possible for us to understand only if we start appreciating people who are far away, who stay far away from my own district or my own village, and I start learning about their culture, their language, their festivals, their religions, and start developing some kind of respect. So if I can do so, then I can also think about somebody in Madhya Pradesh and somebody in Odisha, and then far away I can see that what is the culture of some tribal group in China, or maybe some other country like Korea, Japan, US, Canada, etc. So the main motto is that first of all, we should develop some understanding within myself that what is the diversity, what does it mean? And we all say that unity in diversity. That has been the motto of the country, India, for several thousands of years. So if we just look at different states, the physical boundary, and this variety, like we have sea, we have rivers, we have plateau, we have mountain hills, then your desert. So all sort of varieties. Similar thing also can be visible for the people residing in different states with their different cultures, religions, practices, then perceptions, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we start appreciating that this diversity is inevitable. It will be there, and it's really good. It means without diversity, life will indeed be very boring for all of us. Then there is another, famous African American author. She is Maya Angelou. She told, in diversity there is beauty and there is strength. So in diversity there is beauty that we can easily understand if we see the different types of species, or maybe plants or trees in a nature. If you just see any movie or any TV program about the forest, you will see that there are a lot of varieties. Okay, so that is definitely can be a very important attribute of what is called a beauty. And what is the second part? Second part is it's wants to convey the message that in diversity there is strength. That means, say for example, if we can stay together with people of other religion and other say customs or languages, then put together this group becomes strong. Okay, so we say that in diversity there is both beauty and strength. Okay, so in a nutshell, by student diversity will mean that the differences among students. Okay, so this will be not only in the level of external appearance, but also their language, their religion, their cultures. And after that we talk about the physical the special needs. That is also part of diversity, because these things directly impact how a student enters the classroom. And I think some of you already know that there is this NIRF ranking system, and that stipulates that the hostel and the classroom should be, they call it a Divyang friendly. It's because it means that a student who has some kind of a special needs, he should be comfortably able to come to the classroom, attend the class, because in this NEP 2020 we do not recommend that there should be a separate classroom for a student having special needs, because the main reason behind this is that the student will feel isolated, and he might be he or she might feel that why I am being labeled. So the labeling, this thing basically people don't like. Okay, that also we'll discuss. So so first of all, let us assume that there are broadly the differences among students. Okay, what are the differences? Those are basically attributes of diversity we will take up as we move forward. Okay, so but at the core of heart, any student, suppose he's going to a faraway place, joining some hostel, some university or some college or some school, at the bottom of his heart, he wants this thing, that he should feel valued and respected. So this everybody gives special emphasis on this mutual respect. So whatever we do in the classroom as a teacher, we should maintain that the student who might be might have joined the classroom and who is not from a nearby area, so his the first different thing could be the language. The language could be different, and the other things could be different, but he or she should feel valued, and we should learn to pay mutual respect, okay, to all the classmates. So that ambience should be created by the teacher himself, okay. So the teacher should promote cultural awareness in the classroom, okay. So suppose there are few students with from a particular community, and then they discuss about some important festival, and the teacher doesn't know about it. He's not aware. So he may not give value, or he might think that the students are just simply wasting time. So he should be aware of those cultures, and he should also encourage the students to discuss about their own cultures, what they do in those festivals and all these things with the class. And then what will happen, the first thing is that other students will be aware that this particular community, these particular people celebrate this festival in this way. And this, like the respective new year is coming in different parts of India within next say about 10 days, next 10 days. So the same conceptually the same program means same thing like the new year, but the names are different. How people practice, what they celebrate, the dressing, the clothing, the food, there is huge difference, okay. So this is another example of diversity. So as a teacher in the classroom, we should ensure that students feel valuable. There is mutual respect between two students of different communities, different religions, different languages, or different perceptions, so that they feel some kind of bond, okay. And then after that, whatever subject I teach, all can assimilate to the subject, and they can also feel comfortable, feel free to ask questions and raise their hand, and they can do joint work, project work, and enhance their learning, okay. So when you give some example of a diverse group, then say if you say that there's a diverse group of pets, then it might consist of dog, cat, bird, lizard, and so on and so forth, okay. So as I told you that this diversity among students, that diversity consists of a lot of attributes, okay. So or those reasons why there is a significant diversity among student groups in the class, especially in a national institute or university. So there could be diversity related to age, there could be due to language, culture, appearance, okay, disabilities, race or ethnicity, and religion. So all the parameters are very, very important. They are attributes of diversity. These things are very much very much present when we enter the classroom. Ours is a huge country. There are people from north, south, east, west, and all these things. And if we just go some foreign country, we'll see that it is very, very important that you learn how to mix with a diverse group of people, a different race, and that helps a lot also. And usually you see that people are nice, they are ready to help. So those kind of perceptions also we should be able to create within our classroom, so that the students feel valued and respected, okay. So in this process, one important aspect is the perception, okay, because the student is coming to the class, particularly if we think about NEP 2020 and all the participants in this workshop, they are college professors. So typically the student is completing the age of 18, and then they are coming to the college. So they might have certain perceptions about certain language, community, religion, and so on and so forth. So now this perception, which is not verified, okay, that is defined as a prejudice, okay. So that's why from the picture you will clearly see that some fellow is just telling something to the other person about some other person, and the person with the specs is going to believe without verification as to what the other person is telling about this particular guy who is not in the picture, obviously. So if that is done, and based on that the person with specs develops some kind of perception, then it is basically going to be a wrong thing, right? So that's why it's called prejudice. So when someone thinks negatively about another person simply because they are different, this is called a prejudice, okay. So it's on a lighter note, I can give my example that I am from West Bengal and I am here in UP for last 10 years, and in my job is Varanasi. But also, I stayed a couple of years, about 7 to 8 years in IIT Kanpur, so that is also within Uttar Pradesh. And after my PhD, before my joining BHU, I was a professor of that is RGIPT, Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Petroleum Technology. That is earlier it was in Raebareli, now it is in Amethi. So I have heard that some people used to say that ye Bengali hai, machli khata hai. This is some kind of prejudice, okay? So it's very true, but there might be somebody who doesn't eat, and one thing is that developing some kind of perception about the whole person based on only those two words, that is an incomplete judgment about the person. So the prejudice is basically you can say an enemy of a teacher, right? The teacher should adopt the method of means of verification. So without verification, he should not have trust on whatever others are saying about the student, whether he's bad or good or things like that. So we should be very, very careful about those prejudices, that we should not have individual prejudices, and we'll have to believe it, some kind of verification before we can really help a student in a proper learning process. So the thing is that there are some kind of experiments which we can do to understand diversity. So we are suggested that let's talk to a friend or a family member, okay? So we can just take some kind of cousin brother, cousin sister, whatever. We can talk to them, understand that what are their perceptions about diversity. So you can also do the following, that list the things about both of you that are different, and then we are supposed to list the things about both of us that are similar, okay? So even if there are a few differences, you also share a lot of common attributes, okay? So for example, just discussing and making these columns, a list of things which you don't, we are different, and list of things where both are similar. You might see that there are maybe some food, say for example ice cream, which both of us like, or say going to the sea beaches, sitting beside the sea for a long time, enjoying the sea, the water, the calm and serene nature, beauty of nature. So those similarities will help us develop the bonding. The same thing we can also observe in the classroom, that the students might be liking the place, or they might both two different students from different communities or different religions or languages, they might like to play the same sports like cricket or whatever, football. So that's why you see that even if you do this exercise, we'll see that even if there are a few differences, we also will share a lot of common attributes, okay? So your differences and similarities should be celebrated. So this is basically a very important point, that by doing this process, by doing this exercise, we understand that there will be certain differences and similarities between two different individuals, but those differences can be there, similarities can be there, and we should appreciate that. Ram should appreciate that Shyam has some attributes which are different from Ram's, their likings, dislikings, but still they can be a very good buddy in the classroom. They can be a very good peer or classmate. So in that sense, in a positive sense, we are saying that the differences and similarities should be celebrated. So now coming to the individual reflection. Suppose I give this assignment to a particular student, so or say I am a young faculty, I want to learn about this. So what should I do? There is something important that's called understanding. Okay, so we'll discuss about it. The above lesson, which assignment which you have done, that okay, you talk to some friend or some relative like a cousin, brother or sister or something like that, and make this list of similarities and those differences and all these things, and do this experiment and celebrate their similarities and differences. The above lesson teaches us that diversity is good. It is good in a sense that I will not find a single guy who for whom my likings and his likings or her likings will identically match, and also the differences they will also match. It's not possible. because we all are, grown in different, manner. We develop different perceptions. We read maybe different books. We develop, liking for different music or sports. So that basically makes me a different human being as compared to some other guy. Okay, so learning to appreciate the these differences and similarities makes this whole exercise of diversity a good thing to do. So now, as a young teacher, what I can think is that I can think about my own understanding on diversity. Okay, so how do I think? It is not only pure thinking, but also I have to do some studies, and also maybe I can take the help of Google. I can see some movies where they present some kind of diversity. So, and also I can think about my childhood. Who were my friends? Were there any kind of diversity? And after that, could we do some kind of inclusive activities like in sports or project work or things like that? And then this reflections will help me to develop some kind of a holistic approach, attitude towards the whole world. So the thing is that it is highly possible the two siblings, friends or classmates, might have different understanding about diversity. Okay, but that's still fine. That's still fine in the sense that that should be celebrated. That in your opinion, this could be this. In my opinion, this could be this. But still, we are in the same classroom. We share common. We do the assignments put together, sitting together. We do the project work. We go to the sports ground, or we go the weekends. We go to sightseeing or things like that. Okay, so that means the diversity also can help us understand that there are some differences between myself and the other student in the classroom, but still that doesn't hinder me in mingling with other classmates and learning the subjects like physics, chemistry, math, and other subjects. Okay, so after as a teacher, after I exercise this on myself, I develop a greater understanding about diversity. Okay, so that will help me in getting creative in the classroom. So make a story about diversity and tell it in your class. So after reading many stories of diversity and going back to reflection, going back to my own childhood days, or going back to the reflections, I can easily develop some kind of story which will talk about diversity, and that story I can tell in the class. So I think all of you have observed that when you go to the class and start teaching some kind of theory and then examples and then mathematical problems and all these things, it might be a little bit dull or boring for the students. But if you say that students, let us see this story, so or from your laptop or from the presentation board, you can take the help of YouTube or something like that, or otherwise you can also tell the story. There was a king, there was a school, there was a teacher, there was a boy. So the students will immediately get attracted, and if you can show through this story that diversity is good, then also that creates a lasting impression on in the minds of the students who are present in the class. So it's suggested that we have to present as many stories or incidences or quotes as possible in the class. So now, after doing this exercise and studying on this diversity and self-reflections, we'll move from the mental state of lack of understanding to greater understanding. Okay, so here you see that there are students from different races, black, white, and all these things, and might be some religion-wise differences or language-wise differences, but still they're able to do a project work. They're looking into the globe, they're learning about different countries, different rivers, seas, mountains, and they all are enjoying the subject. So that is the job of the teacher, to make the classroom more enjoyable, and that is only possible if we appreciate the diversity and the students develop some kind of mutual respect, and they feel that they are valued in the classroom. Okay, so now these dimensions of diversity. So let's start with some important aspect, that is the age. So this is called ageism. Okay, what is this? This is nothing but the unfair prejudice or discrimination on the grounds of a person's age. Okay, so this again I'm telling you that this prejudice, okay, that is basically wrong thing. So we should have some kind of self justification, self validation or verification. So if a student is older by a few years than the other students in the class, there might be some some the regular students who might be from a similar age group, say all are 11 plus minus 1, something like that. Then there is a student who is 13 or 14 years old. So the larger group might pass some comment, or sometimes they try to bully the student who is of 13 or 14 years old. So that particular student who might be due to some other problems, he had to change the state because of his father's job or something like that. So he wasted some time, but he is being bullied by some students because of this age, and then immediately mentally what happens that he starts feeling awkward. So sometimes others may pass some comments based on their individual prejudice, etc. So that is called ageism, and that we, as a teacher, we should make sure that kind of attribute is taken care of properly, and students are not allowed to make any comment which might affect the mental condition of the particular student who is a little lower or higher in age as compared to the normal classroom. Okay, so after the age, one very important dimension of diversity is the language. Okay, so and if you talk about our country, it's the best place to understand the diversity related to language, because if you go to say US, there's only one language, English. In Canada there might be maybe mostly some people talk French and others mostly English, but in India there are many languages. So when a student goes out of his own state, definitely there's a challenge. He has to learn another subject, or language, and then be able to develop some communication skill, then verbal, written, and all these things. And he has to learn the subject also, and write the exam and get a good marks for going to the next level or getting job. So life becomes a little bit more challenging if you are exposed to the environment of a different language where you have to adopt, you have to learn some other language. So in that process there might be some kind of prejudice by the people who are comfortable with that particular different language, and there could be some possibility of bullying and all these things. So that's students should be careful. So so this is also called language diversity or linguistic diversity. So linguistic diversity is a term used to describe the difference between different languages and the ways that people communicate with each other. Okay, so I understand that that Ram speaks language A, Sham speaks language B. So but both of them have mutual respect, and they want to learn some part of other languages so that they can communicate, they can start communication, and then slowly they build up. So so one student who is not able to talk into or understand the language where in which the majority of the class mates they are talking, so the particular student is might be singled out or can be called as an odd man out. So he will feel a little bit awkward, lonely, or not able to communicate, and so this kind of mental problems might arise. So as a teacher we should be aware, we should be very, very careful. So we have to keep in mind that no one wants to be embarrassed, right? And besides this, everyone loves his or her mother tongue. That is very, very true for anybody who stays in UP or Bihar or Bengal or maybe Tamil Nadu. So mother tongue is very, very important. We are highly passionate about our mother tongues, and that is the case universally truth, right? The problem is that in our country there are about 780 languages. Okay, these are recognized languages, and they may not be official languages, but they are recognized. There may be some other languages which are spoken by many people, but still research is going on and all these things. So there are besides this huge number of languages, there are 22 official languages. Okay, so so the thing is that say one student who is not comfortable in say English or Hindi, and writing some kind of joint entrance examination, then this question paper in the computer-based question, he sees that the question is either in English or Hindi. So he has to learn English or Hindi because he doesn't get the question in other option. Though the government is trying, and many examinations, the questions, the question paper is printed in their the local languages, but this doing the same thing for 22 languages is a very huge task. And so there are some kind of barriers and there are some kind of challenges, and especially this is very true when a person comes out from his own state in search of higher studies and in search of job and things like that. Okay, so as a teacher, we should be careful about this dimension of diversity, which is the language diversity, and make the students aware that the other language is something on which we should have proper respect, because that is the mother tongue of some other my classmate, my friend, right? So I cannot sort of disregard all these things. So so it is how important it is, this language or linguistic diversity, that you see that from this picture it is clear that there is a birth of this country, Bangladesh, based on this language diversity. So let me read this bullet points. The people of West Bengal and Bangladesh feel a special bonding just because of this language, Bengali language, And there are many songs, written by Rabindranath Tagore or Nazrul Islam. Those are equally popular in West Bengal, Bangladesh, and anybody in the world who is either from Bengal or Bangladesh or some other part. But this education basically binds people. Okay, so this language binds people. Just how that happens with Hindi, with Punjabi, and other languages also. So this, in fact, the language played a very crucial role in Bangladesh's fight for independence. What happened that after independence of Pakistan, then Bangladesh became this East Pakistan, and then the Prime Minister of Pakistan wanted that Urdu should be the official language for both Pakistan and this East Pakistan. Then people of Bangladesh wanted that Bengali should be the official language. So there is a lot of rift, and then ultimately based on this language they got independence, and India helped a lot to Bangladesh in order to get its independence. So it was the only independence movement in the world based on linguistic and cultural rights, rights of their citizens. So in 1999, UNESCO declared February 21st as the International Mother Language Day. So by this picture, what I want to emphasize is that mother tongue is very, very passionate. Everybody is passionate about his or her mother tongue. So, but in reality, we have to move out of our own state or our own district in search of job, in search of higher studies. So we have to embrace this diversity. We have to learn some other languages, and so that we can be professionally successful. Okay, so we should be mutually respectful to the student in my class, with my classmates, and we should understand and delicately handle this language diversity. Then another very, very important dimension of diversity is the religion. Okay, because today because of lack of understanding or due to prejudice, a lot of fight between people of different religions that you see throughout the world it is going on. So so the thing is that in the same classroom there could be people of different religions. So the teacher should make them aware that it's a personal choice. So someone is Hindu, someone is Muslim, someone is Christian or Jain or whatever. It is their personal choice, and we should have mutual respect for other person's religion, and this diversity should be handled in a very positive manner, that I respect your religion, you respect my religion, and there will be awareness programs organized by the teacher in the class, so that the student of some particular religion also gets a chance to learn some good things or some other things, or the history or other things about practices of some other religion. Okay, so we should have some kind of discussions in the classroom. Then there is the religious diversity. It's basically a social phenomenon, not only in the classroom but also in the college, in the institute, in the university, and this tolerance and universal acceptance are two fundamental attributes within this religion diversity. It is because I should be tolerant towards the religion for other classmates, and also there should be universal acceptance. Okay, so if I go to US, then I might not find anybody in the classroom who is having my religion. Still, if I have this that I accept their religion, then basically I feel good, and I also develop some mutual respect for others, and we can be good friends, good classmates, and proceed further towards our own studies and progress. Okay, so coming to the physical conditions, that somebody might have some physical challenges, or they need some special help in movement or things like that, or maybe able to listening something or seeing something. So these all are different attributes of some kind of diversity related to the physical being of a student. So there are also a lot of perceptions and prejudices are there. And as part of this, as I told you, that NIRF these institutes are supposed to make the classroom student friendly, so that the students can comfortably enter and exit from the classroom and enjoy the class and teachings. And the main motto is to minimize the the excellence achieved by a normal student and the student with some kind of special needs. That means in the classroom we are able to impart the education to the student with some kind of special needs in a better manner, that he or she is not feeling isolated but also friendly into the classroom. There is mutual respect and he is feeling being valued, and also learning subjects. Sorry. So this picture shows that there are basically students with from different race, black, white, maybe some other really different religions, and some students are having different special needs, but still they represent that they are doing some project work or doing some homework or assignments, and they are happy. So as a teacher, we feel really happy that my classroom is a diverse classroom, but still there is a lot of inclusivity among themselves. They are ready to help others, and they are able to progress in their studies. So this kind of pictures basically makes us happy. Now, as I told you that we will not recommend any separate classroom for the student who is physically who is having some special needs. So so the question is to label or not to label. Okay, so so we can label some kind of pot, some kind of jar having some kind of fruit juice, something like that, but we must not label people. Okay. Excuse me. So we should give special importance to the person. So earlier these words used to be used as a negative words like disabled children, or then children with disability. Then we are improving towards the children with special needs or exceptional needs or educational needs. And now, apart from educational needs, we understand that there are some kind of other needs like co-curricular activity also he wants to or she wants to do, and they need some help. So we summarize them as children with additional needs. Okay. So the question is, should a child suspected of or diagnosed with a development issue be labeled? So our clear-cut solution or suggestion is that we should not label them. They are the classmate. They are the student in my class, and I will treat them equally. They will have difficulty in understanding. So through proper awareness, proper discussion, we will feel them, make them feel comfortable, and then they will definitely progress in the learning of the subject being taught in the class and do really well in the examination. So we can sort of categorize the learners who have some special needs. So we can say that learners who are gifted and talented, or the learners with difficulty seeing, difficulty hearing, difficulty in communicating. Okay, communicating means, say for example, this is basically the function of the brain that, okay, if I say something, the particular student might understand this little slowly, and after that his brain will process it, and the response will be delayed, or the response might be delayed, okay? And when the response, the student is making the response and preparing the response in the brain and trying to respond to me, then the medium is language. And if the language also changes, so for example, he's coming from a remote village and he is comfortable only with, say Bhojpuri or Hindi, and in the classroom he is having to express or raise the question to me in English, then there is another challenge. So these two important things we should handle slowly to the classroom and make them feel comfortable. We have more practice sessions and tutorials and all these things, and then definitely students will learn, and their learning will be fast. Okay. So about the physical needs, that there could be learner with difficulty walking or moving, or if there is some that about memory, that difficulty remembering or focusing, and they might also have difficulty with self-care. So there are mental, then cognitive things, and there are also physical special needs. All the types of things could be present among the students who are there in my class. So they all are learners, and my job is to teach them a particular different subject. But before that, we should develop this kind of awareness among all the students, so that we are on the same platform, and we all as a group we learn and grow. Okay. So I would like to give you some examples of a few learners who are basically gifted and very, very talented, but they were not basically fit for some particular environment because of their own limitations. But later on they have excelled. So we call it a giftedness. So when the ability is significantly above the norms of their age, like I told the student to draw some picture of nature. Okay, so all are about 12 years old. So if one student is drawing at and that his drawing is much more perfect than other students, I might consider him as a gifted child. Okay, his ability is excellent as compared to other student of the same group into the classroom. So this was like this world's great painter, like Pablo Picasso. He had a lot of difficulty in the schools. He was not able to focus because when the teacher used to write something in the board, those words got randomized when it used to enter his brain, and he couldn't process properly. Then long hours used to stay in a corner and look into the sky. And fortunately, his father could understand that he has special talent, and he was taken to some other different school where he got a lot of opportunity to do painting, and maybe studies was little limited, and then he excelled in painting and also ceramics and many other things. He just excelled throughout the world. Okay, so this kind of learners are considered as gifted. So they are not mediocre, but externally looking, we might think that they are mediocre, they are having difficulty, but they might have hidden talent. So as a teacher, we should also try to explore their hidden talent and help them grow in the area where they are passionate, or they're really doing really well. Okay. So this could be this may manifest in one or more domains, such as intellectual, creative, artistic, leadership, or in a special academic field such as language, arts, mathematics, or science. So similar is the case with one of the great physicists in the world, Stephen Hawking. That means when he just entered the college, he started developing some kind of motor neuron kind of a disease, and he's then he used to communicate with other scientists using some kind of machine, but that didn't stop him to think in a very faster pace about the universe and bringing a lot of best-selling books and all these things. So those, he was also gifted. Okay. So when the learner has some difficulty in remembering and focusing, or difficulty in self-care, we call it as an intellectual disability. Okay. So for something, this similar type of disability, it might be that the normal teacher may not be trained enough to handle the students. So then we should go to some doctor and recommend and suggest to the parents and take the special advice of the doctor. And definitely the activity of the brain, different activities of the brain might be the student is instructed to do to improve that intellectual activities. Okay, so that the student learns at a faster pace. So when the student who is having some difficulty in remembering or focusing, so for example, this sometimes happens that I am doing the board work and one particular student is stuck up in a particular location, particular moment or particular equation, and then he or she is thinking about going deeper into that particular equation. Okay, and I am proceeding with some other than examples or different theory. So that means he's focusing deeply in a particular topic. However, then he's missing the other topics. Okay, so this is also another type of learning disability. So there could be student with this kind of problem in the classroom, along with the students with normal mental ability or no delay in self-care and psychosocial parameters are perfect. So how to handle these different groups into the same classroom and teach them a different subject. So some students might have difficulty in listening, thinking, speaking, reading, and so on and so forth. Okay, so so this table shows you different types of learning disability. Like through some movies we see that there's something called dyslexia, where the student under consideration is basically he's reading, he can read little slowly, he cannot read fast. Okay, because he finds it difficult to decode words, and particularly the order of letters, so they get jumbled up when he or she wants to process it. So, and after that, what happens that he finds problems recalling those known words, and those kind of special needs are there with students with some kind of learning disability. Okay, so when the student is blind or might be low vision, we typically call it a visual impairment. And that you all know that there's a this called Braille. Those books are different, and they have to touch and feel, and then from there they're able to understand that this is the alphabets, and this is the words, and these are the sentences, and from there they learn. So that is in a nutshell, that is a very marvelous thing for them, that still their eyesight is not okay, but still they're able to read, they're able to learn by just touching the different sentences, those Braille words, and so on and so forth. Okay, and there could be a difficulty hearing. Okay, so that's called a hearing impairment, or there's speech or language related disorder. Okay, and also orthopedically impaired means there will be difficulty in walking, moving. So when a student is having a difficulty in, say, for example, hearing, or he has hearing impairment, so the teacher is supposed to teach using some kind of sign languages, and it is suggested that the teacher will stand a little closer to the student, develop eye contact, and teaches in a very focused method, using the sign languages through this picture on the right hand side, and the student follows his the movement of the fingers and understands what is the topic the teacher is basically teaching or wants to convey, wants the student to learn. So this is the way the teacher can impart the knowledge to the student having hearing impairment. Okay, so So sometimes this is also called the students who are having difficulty in remembering and focusing. This is also called autism spectrum disorder or this behavioral disorders. So they could be emotionally disturbed because the the parents might be impatient while explaining something to them or telling them that you should do this, and they're taking a lot of time to do. So that's why in that case we should take the help of respective experts, medical experts, and try to solve this issue. Okay, so this will bring in different circumstances into the classroom, and the teacher should be aware, should have this flexibility in the mind that okay, all the he should be able to treat the students in the classroom in a very friendly manner, so that they slowly come over those issues and can focus on the learning. Okay, so the thing is that this is a very important figure which shows about the difference between equality and equity. That the question is, why educate children with special needs? So the thing is that this is a very fundamental question. So in NEP 2020, and before that also throughout the world, there are a lot of guidelines by UNESCO and so on and so forth. We understand that it is the responsibility of the government to make sure that the children receive adequate education. Okay, so if we don't educate the children with some special needs, one day they will be grown up, they will be adults, and they will be ready to do job, but they won't be able to get job because they are not properly educated. So they will be basically a burden on the society. So it's very important for all of us to try to educate all the students, irrespective of their whether they are normal or they are having special needs. So learner with special educational needs have a right to be educated alongside their peers who do have special needs. This is basically a matter of equity and social justice. So what happens is that the picture is pretty clear that I gave equal opportunity to say, for example, every person's. So this is called example of equality. So the limitation of equality is that the small boy is not able to see the cricket match, or sorry, baseball or whatever is going on. But on the right hand side, this equity means I give the largest facility to the particular person or the student who needs it the most, so that everybody is able to enjoy the match. Okay, so that's why equity is very, very important than equality. That means in our terms, in the teaching in a classroom or in the college or university, how we can do this. After the class, we can request the students who is having difficulty in understanding that they can come to my office and I explain him again. Or there will be some tutorial classes, extra tutorial classes for those students who are having difficulty. There could be some language labs. Nowadays some institutes are starting that language lab. That means there is a communication lab, like there is some recording system. There's a teacher of English, and the students who are coming from remote area or who are having the stage fear, that if you just tell them that stand on the stage and talk about something for 5 minutes, they become nervous, they cannot talk, they feel a lot of troubles. So so then the thing is that the first week they say something, we can record it, and after maybe 1 month they improve it, and we can also record it and tell them that see, this is the way you have improved. So you can improve a lot, and by this you will give you a lot of confidence, and it will help you in getting jobs once you complete your program. Okay, so from this figure we understand that this equity is much more important than the equality. Okay. So there are some international agreements which were adopted by different countries in the world. So first there was the UN Conventions on the rights of the child. So the child obviously it doesn't know what are its rights. So it came in 1989 that basically the parents of the child should understand that what are the rights of the child. So the child has civil, political, economic, social, health, and cultural rights. Okay. In the next year, we had this World Declaration of Education for All. Basically, people have understood that education is very, very important to minimize this prejudice or this illiteracy. We have to eradicate the illiteracy, and people should be made aware. So education is important, right? So basic learning needs of all children, youth, and adults that were respected, appreciated, and accepted by all the world leaders. In 1994, there was UNESCO Salamanca Statement and Framework for Action. So, governments, it says that governments should give highest policy and budgetary priority to improve their education systems to enable them to include all children regardless of individual differences or difficulties. That means it is the prime responsibility of the government to make sure that it makes arrangement for imparting education to all the children irrespective of their special needs. Okay, so the committee who basically recommended this NEP 2020, they have recommended that the percentage of GDP which is spent on education should be improved to up to 6% of GDP by 2030, because now presently it is I think a little bit more than 2%. So to properly implement NEP 2020, there is the need to have infrastructure, right? So so for that, the schools need fund, colleges need fund. So government should increase the spending, and then we can successfully implement all the aspects of NEP 2020. Okay. So there are two important things. One is SNE, that is the special needs education. That means the most important part is the student who is special, he also needs education. So special needs education, and he has some special educational needs. Okay, and the special educational needs means whether I'll teach him in the same classroom, then their learning will not be complete, and then I make some more arrangements for him to learn at the same pace, same speed with the other peers into the classroom. So basically, we talks about the improvement in teaching into the classroom so that normal students as well as students with special needs can receive education, and they all of them can do very well in the exam. Okay. So after that, there is something called this inclusive education, which is basically the second part of our talk. So let me check what is the time. Okay, fine. It's about 5:15. So let me give a small pause over here, and just 1 second. Let me just stop presenting, and it will be really nice if we can get some kind of some small time to understand, to receive your questions, and we'll try to give response and take a small break, and then we'll go to the inclusive education part. So I think you also receive an email about the feedback that the link will be open. I think it's already open, and you have to finish it by the middle of the night, middle of the tonight. So before we can go for the break, please ask me if you have any question, any query, or what do you feel in your college? How is the awareness? Whether all the colleagues are aware about NEP 2020, and then only we can develop the interest to learn. Okay, what is this? And then appreciate it. And after that, once we are convinced, we can basically talk positively about it in my classroom or our classrooms, and provide the much needed benefit to the students. So yeah, I thank you for your appreciating words, and it will be yeah. So this is a question that how to deal with person with multiple disabilities in classroom. Okay, this is a very, very important question. So actually, we do not know that how many disabilities the students should have. For that, I think some experiments are required. Okay, so if there is only physical disability like walking or moving, then we can easily understand and make arrangement for ramp and wheelchair and all these things for the student, and there could be some staff in the school who can help him to move from classroom to lab and things like that, to the canteen or some other restrooms. So the most important part of disability which we fail to understand is which is related to that his brain, the brain functioning. Okay, for example, if I say something, then it reaches the brain of the students, different students in different speed, and then their brain their brains process. Okay, and after processing, they are basically giving the response. So this processing speed is also different for different students, and their response could be different. Okay, so sometimes what I observed is that the student who is sitting in the first bench and he's not sleeping, but still, if I ask him that what is the subject I am teaching today, then he tells something, sir, fluid mechanics, something. Maybe I'm not teaching that subject. I'm teaching basically the heat transfer. So the thing is that this multiple disability, it is, as a teacher, we should be aware, we should be alert in the classroom, and if we see that there is some kind of delay or some kind of abrupt answer I'm getting from the student, then I shouldn't be angry. I should have more patience. I should be tolerant, and maybe I should call his parents, do this consultation, and request them to sort of see an expert medical practitioner like doctor and address this problem, and then we can sort of proceed to solve this problem. Okay, so now there is another question that okay, how is inclusive different from integration, and if inclusion fails to achieve its objective, then what is next to inclusion? Okay, see, inclusion, just 1 second, let me just go a little up. So integration actually may be related to the syllabus, pedagogy, course structure, and all these things. Okay, but in inclusion or inclusivity, there basically we talk about the quality. Quality means some kind of that that particular attribute of a human being that we learn appreciating the diversity, and then we learn how to work together. Okay, so if you say that if inclusion fails, that is a very important observation. That inclusion fails means probably I didn't do the adequate hard work. Okay, so then probably how to address that issue. Okay, that's next time this problem doesn't occur. That means that means at every step there should be a mechanism of taking the feedback. Okay, feedback means after the class is over, or maybe after 1 week of teaching and learning and all these things, we can take feedback from the students, and then I basically improvise. I basically update my delivery method. Okay, so now the question is, how will you get impartial or unbiased feedback? So that could be collected in my absence. Okay, so suppose I am teaching mathematics, so some professor of physics can go to my classroom. I was not there, and I will be not there. I will not be there, and he collects feedback, and then he passes that message to me, and next time I try to improve upon those attributes. Okay, so inclusivity will fail only if we don't collect feedback, and that's why in this context, in my personal level, I would like to request you that if there is no TLC in your college or institution, you must try to establish one TLC, teaching learning cell, so that suppose there are only 2 faculty members who are interested and they have established this TLC for this college. So whenever they are teaching the students on those issues of inclusivity and all, these 2 faculty members can share their learning, and where something is failing, where something might fail, and by mutual discussion we can receive some solutions, suggestions, as well as there's something called this PTM, parent teacher meeting, which is very important for the kids, for the students who are at a lower level, like very young classes. But in college level usually it doesn't happen. Okay, but we have as warden of hostels, suppose I get to know that one student created some chaos, he was drinking and things like that. So when I call his parents, first of all, parents don't accept that my son can drink. So but when you say that I'm a faculty member and this thing happened, this is the proof, then they're forced to accept that, and they feel very sad about it. Now their point is, sir, you suggest what to do. Okay, so this is basically very strong thread of feedback. So if we disconnect this mechanism of collecting feedback from the stakeholders, then we cannot implement a good system within the hostel, within the institute, within sports ground, or within classroom. So in a nutshell, inclusivity might fail, but basically the teachers are responsible for that. So if the teachers are properly trained and they are given that basic minimum infrastructure, probably that will not never fail. Okay, so okay, now there is another question of, do you think that the provisions of RPWD Act 16 is effective in letter and spirit? This act I am not aware of. I have to just know a little bit, learn about. So can you just Yogesh Chandraji, can you please talk about this?
Hi everyone, I'm Yogesh from Haryana, from Sports University of Haryana. So this act is all about provision. This act provides the provision for inclusion of person with disability. This act was floated way back in 2016, December 2016, and basic idea of the act was to have provision for education of person with disability, to have their employment, and apart from that, the basic idea was to give them chance, because this was a right-based approach. Earlier, there was an act, PWD Act 1995, that was a type of mercy-based approach. Right now, we have an act that it is a sort of right, and if it is a right, it is the responsibility of teacher like me and you to have access of person with disability into higher education institutions. So this act have so many provisions. This is a 35-page act, I would say, and I would say this is I'm not saying this is a mother text of inclusion, especially as far as person with disabilities are concerned.
Yeah, very true. So, so this also, mentioned in NEP 2020 that if some student with some kind of disability wants to take admission, the school or the college cannot reject admission, cannot deny admission based on the ground that we don't have the infrastructure. That is your responsibility, but you cannot deny admission to the student with some special needs.
There is a provision of 5% quota for this.
Sure. That's very nice. Thank you. So, okay, let's come to the next question. That how does, I think Dr. Chandrima Karmakar is asking this question. How does one try to raise awareness among students to be more sensitive towards their classmate who might have a physical disability? So, for that, I think some awareness camps, awareness programs, and also the parent-teacher meeting, we should emphasize on that point. And some of my previous lectures, we got a feedback from the teacher community that they are already overburdened, because the recruitment of teachers is not very frequent thing. So you might naturally ask that how we can do so many awareness programs, teaching, research, and all these correcting copies, taking their exams, and other administrative tasks. So the school management, school management should be sensitive enough to to implement NEP in its letters and spirits, so that they will provide you the facility. Like that's why I was telling that initially the institute may not be interested to open up this TLC, but after this session, I think if you want, we can also help you, because it is not that that we need TLC only for this NEP 2020. It might be for any other topics which is now disturbing our state, Uttar Pradesh, or maybe some problem is going on in Bihar. So those all the issues are basically affecting us today or tomorrow. So this TLC, we can bring experts. They will deliver the expert lectures, and if the college is little older, we can definitely get some funding from the alumni. Like if you go to the TLC webpage of IIT Madras, you will be happy to see that every department they have small conference rooms. Say maybe for 15 to 20 people can sit, and one that audio visual presentation facility, because every faculty member may not be interested, but people who are interested, for them there is a facility in place that he wants. For example, this bullying, ragging, the discrimination, all the things are basically there. Like in our campus, we have now sometimes there's a big problem between the students of BHU, students of IIT BHU. Okay, suppose in the middle of night, the IIT BHU students go just outside the campus. There's a big place called Lanka. There they can get tea throughout the night, and something happened, and then there is some chaos, and there it expands because the number of students is quite large. For BHU, it is about I think more than 30,000. And for IIT also, I think about 8,000 or so or more. So the thing is that we have to start from small and should have this kind of a platform where any student, say PG student, research scholar, he can be a volunteer. He can be a tutor to assist the professor in delivering that lecture, and he can help you in spreading the awareness, or conduct small session on weekends or maybe Friday afternoon, so that the students become a little bit sensitive towards the problem of the students with disability, and explain other students that they're also your classmates and you should behave in a nice manner. You should understand their pain and you should try to help them, and slowly they will learn and adapt to this environment. Okay, and then in doing so there could be some problems, and that we have to analyze. So that is the feedback system. So feedback mechanism, if it is strong, then definitely and at a shorter period of time we will be able to make the campus very much agreeable or appreciable by the parents, and its reputation will definitely be very nice, that the parents of those physically challenged students will feel very comfortable that okay, my son goes to the school and there he's treated with respect and very nicely, very comfortably, he feels comfortable. So that is the thing which they want. Okay. And also in NEP 2020 our objective is that after doing so, then I will start imparting this knowledge on my particular subject, say chemical engineering. Then definitely the learning speed also will improve for the student who is having some special needs, so that the excellence or the marks or the grades of the student and the normal student, the difference should be minimized, so that I can say that okay, I have sort of I have become successful in integrating that particular student into my classroom. That means inclusivity, we could achieve inclusivity. Okay, so now another question is okay, feedback form is not opening. That I will talk to my staff. Just 1 second. So there's some practical tips for embracing linguistic diversity in classroom. Practical tips means yeah, that is I think with the help of some tutors you can conduct some extra sessions, and also you can give some stories. For example, that as an Indian, we if there's a cricket match between India and Pakistan, then we all are charged up. Okay, but once I worked in US for 1 month in 2016, then there is nothing like that. Basically, I was invited by a student who was from Iran, and he cooked food for me. And then there was another guy next door. He was from Bangladesh. So we didn't bother about who is Hindu, who is Muslim, who is talking Hindi, who is talking Urdu. So this broadness comes when basically our approach is be pure learning. And when I don't want to learn, I want to just create some chaos, then those issues skyrocket. So as a teacher, we should irrespective of the shirt which they are wearing, the way they are talking, or all the small things we can ignore, and we can make them feel valuable. Then definitely the linguistic diversity can be tackled in a very efficient manner. And also like for Hindi, I can bring some stories or some poems by Munshi Premchand, which is well respected. So something can be done for the other language, the students who are talking other languages. Okay, so this is the way I think we can tackle. And also I think once in a year there should be some joint conferences between different institutes, so that we go to your place or you come to our place and we share our experiences, and that will be very much enriching, like some kind of group discussion sessions, question answer, and that will definitely enrich ours and make us better teacher to impart the essence of NEP 2020 to our students. Okay, so I think a couple of questions I have addressed. So let's take a 10-minute quick break, and then I will anyway, differentiate learning is diversity learning ability. So I think this is mostly, by seeking some advice from some doctors. They might be experts, and in this process we have to take the parents into confidence, isn't it? So okay, so let's take a 10-minute break, and I'll come back shortly. Okay.
सर आवाज नहीं आ रही है मुझे।
Break period, ma'am.
welcome to the next session. Let me just, before I can, I start the presentation file. Here I saw a few comments of some professors that learning ability and learning disability are two different things. So may I request Dr. Sita Mittal to, little bit talk in detail, because as you know, people from different background, like engineering background, we think that disability means lack of ability. So if you can give some examples, it will really enlighten all other participants. So Dr. Sita Mittal, are you there in the platform?
Yes, sir.
So can you please give some example that learning ability?
Sir, learning disabilities like dyscalculic students, dyslexia like learning in reading ability or writing ability. There are different types of learning disabilities.
Right.
Learning disability means lack of some ability, but learning abilities means ki like different learning ability among students.
Okay. Oh, that's really good.
Like it's reading ability, writing ability, to communication ability, like different types. But disability is something that is lack of some that particular attribute or trait in that particular student or that individual.
Okay, means it is related to some, function of the brain, you can say, body.
Yes, sir. This is totally related to your some मतलब brain ability, like कुछ part आपका उसमें missing है. Disability means that.
Right.
But learning ability, this is the competencies or proficiency to do something.
Okay, means a positive word, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like you told that writing ability, reading ability, similar things. Okay, fine. Thanks for the clarification. So let us, move forward and let's have some discussion on inclusivity or inclusive education. And I'm really happy that, many of you are asking so many questions. So it will be really exciting for us. So let us, let me first upload the file and then we will start. Are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So,
Yes, sir.
So this thing is that this inclusive education, basically, that whatever we discussed about diversity. So if we sort of, loosely speaking, that if we consider them as problem, then the solution lies in the inclusivity or inclusive education. And that means it's as a teacher, it's our responsibility to, develop or create that environment in the classroom. As some of you have mentioned that it's really, difficult to teach a class where there will be student with some kind of disability and some other students who might be normal, because you are very true that the speed will be different. So how do I make the same class as, inclusive? So the main challenge is reaching out to all the learners, okay, who are having maybe normal speed, or some students is fast, some student is a slow learner. So as a teacher, what should be my speed? That's very important question. Sometimes I feel we also have failed for the normal classroom, that some student who are who can understand much faster, they might think that I am teaching slowly. For the majority of the students, say 60-70% of the students might think that okay, my speed is okay. And for the bottom, say 10-15% students, they might need more time to understand whatever I am So that also happens for the normal courses, for the normal students. But after that, if we add this dimension that there are some students with some special needs, then again the question is, as a teacher, how I can include or provide inclusive education to all the students who have different learning speeds. Okay, so addressing and responding to diversity of needs of all children, youth, and adults. Okay, so this inclusive education basically, it's basically a it will give us the overview that how we can address different diversity existing within the classroom, maybe for the smaller group or the lower classes or the school or colleges or maybe PG level. So so how that diversity will exist, and how do we tackle this, how do we address this issue, and respond to their queries. They will spread the awareness and attend to their queries and make the class fun place to learn. So this involves changes and modification in content, approaches, structures, and strategies. That means there's a curriculum. Okay, there is curriculum which we are following for, say, for example, a BTech program. There is no 4 years or 8 semester program where in different in the semesters there are laboratory works, some theory works. There could be some, now people are doing some kind of major in computer science, minor in say mathematics or some other subject. Sometimes some music or dance or things are also being added so that to reduce the stress on the students. So as we commonly say that students are are highly stressed because of the pressure of getting job or getting suitable job, and there is diversity based on their languages and their learning ability, and there are many other things. The market is changing very fast. There, people are not getting jobs. There might be some job only in the AI ML sector and many other things. So that basically makes the mind of the student a little nervous. So so that also should be addressed in our classrooms, and also diversity related to language, religion, and the culture, and those things are already there. Particularly, this is faced by the people who are teaching in different colleges or universities, where students from different financial backgrounds, different cultures or religions or languages also attend. Okay, so a holistic approach will be appropriate. Holistic approach means it is not that that there is a subject, say for example, thermodynamics. The subject is there, and there is a syllabus. There are a couple of textbooks, reference books are recommended to me. So my job as a teacher is to teach thermodynamics. But when you talk about holistic approach, that means parallel to teaching this subject to the students. The students are also a group of diverse backgrounds and all. It is my job to make them understand that if they study this subject, how it is going to help them develop as a human being and analyze different technical problems separately, efficiently, and also under the same curriculum or under that curriculum which is being followed into the particular college. The students will also get some opportunity to practice sports, yoga, and all these things, so that they can develop a complete human being and with sound body, sound mind, and so on and so forth. Okay, so and this holistic approach is not easy to implement, because we have to have first of all, there should be physical facilities like the infrastructure, like playground and good facilities in the hostels or classrooms. So those things are, I think that funding is important for that, and funding will come from mostly for the state government or central government, or maybe if the school or college is very old, then from alumni funding, or some percentage of this of the fund might come from the tuition fee of the students. That model what the college is following. So we understand that nearly about 57% of students come from disadvantaged groups. That means they may not be getting a laptop while studying in school. So when they are coming to the college for the first time, they are given a training that okay, this is the file which you can open, you can create this file, you can edit, you can create pictures, tables, figures, and so on and so forth. So they are shy. They might be using a different language in the village. In the city, they have to feel comfortable. So a lot of interactions, awareness programs and language classes or tutorial sessions are required, so that they can be part of the inclusive education, and then they can speed up their learning. Okay, this is all about the normal students, and at the same time, if we add the students with some special needs, then also some special facilities, some extra sessions might have to be arranged for them. Maybe after the college hours in the evening, some rooms in the hostel should be allotted, so that the students or some research scholars who are the TA for the course, they might take extra lectures, so that that also sometimes we call it a doubt clearing session. So that session can be organized to explain them, and they can then slowly they grasp the subject in a nice manner, and they learn faster and be well prepared for the exam. Okay, so there are a couple of index for inclusion, and you see this is a triangle. So there are three bases, three sides. One is basically producing inclusive policies. So so there are basically three dimensions of the index. So one is the producing inclusive policies. So policy is very, very important, because if there is no policy, then there could be chaos, because some faculty member might be interested to teach this subject, or teaching the subject in this particular way. Some teacher may not be interested, so there could be some kind of disharmony. So making a policy based on the approved guidelines of NEP 2020 is very, very important. And the local level, after making this policy, the school administration or college administration should make sure that they make this provision of for the teachers, for the professors, so that they can implement these policies by evolving inclusive practices. So once these inclusive practices are implemented, and they are being done for classrooms of with the students of different classrooms or different years, then overall we can say that this college is able to create an inclusive culture. So once the culture is established, then basically it is a very good thing, because then at the next session, when the new students come, they are basically quickly they adapt to this culture and become part of the process, and part of this inclusive education. So this index for inclusion is very, very important, where these are the three dimensions. But at the same time, we have to remember that if I make a policy today, it may not be very, very practical or very, very important or correct after 1 year. So in every sense, we have to have a provision for feedback mechanism. Like while this evolving this inclusive practice, we might see some kind of hindrances, some kind of obstacles. So based on that, we might have to little bit modify the policies, and so that is an ongoing process. But first objective is to develop that inclusive culture within the organization, so that teachers are very much comfortable, and they become competent to provide inclusive education. Okay, so this inclusion basically gives us a sense of belonging. Belonging means suppose if I am a student, I stay in the class, I am sitting in the classroom, and other students are ignoring me, and the teacher is also ignoring me. So basically, I am physically present into the classroom, but I think that I do not belong to this system. I do not belong to this classroom or belong to this institute. So I feel a little bit of isolated. Okay, so that should not happen. That there should be an atmosphere of mutual respect, and the teacher should give proper awareness to the students, so that any student who might have a different background, different language, but still he shouldn't feel isolated, and others should mingle with him in a respectable manner. There will be mutual respect and all these things, so that the environment will be healthy for everybody to learn and grow. So it ensures one school for all, that is equal education for all, providing equal opportunity for all. That means when some opportunity comes, we try to make sure that it is not that only a particular group is giving this opportunity, others are not made part of this group. Okay, so this is very important. That every for example, if there is some sports facility newly created into the school, so every student should get an opportunity to be part of that. So that is the rule, or that's the job of the school management, to make sure that that this inclusion is ensured for providing equal education to all the students. So so one expert comment by this person Matuli is that inclusion is a process by which school expands its resources to meet the learning needs, physical needs and emotional needs of all children. Okay, so obviously they have come for learning, so learning needs are there with all the students, and students who have some physical disability, they have some physical needs in respect of say movement, or might be speed or processing words in their brains, and maybe problem with hearing, problem with seeing. Those kind of needs might be there, and also some emotional needs might be. Some student is otherwise normal student, but he saw a lot of violence into his family, so he might be emotionally little disturbed in the classroom. So through proper counseling and discussion and awareness program, we can sort of address the emotional needs of those students. Okay. However, there is another researcher like Michael F. Glan-Greco. He defined it little means modified way, that inclusive education is a set of values, principles and practices that sets more effective and meaningful education for all students, regardless of whether they have exceptionality labels or not. That means whether there is a label or whether there is a student with special needs or normal students, mix of them, that doesn't make that we should not be a very big obstacle. Basically, if we want to make the inclusive practice or policy, so and we want to impart inclusive education, that should be through the set of values, principles and practices. That means the values are very, very important, so that should be properly documented. Okay, in the light of the NEP 2020, those values and principles should be properly documented, and there should be proper training should be given to the teachers, and how to practice those principles in the classroom with the students, so that they also understand and appreciate how to handle, or how to talk to, how to communicate with the students with some special needs, how to do joint projects, or how to go to the playground, play, whatever is their capability. So this is overall, this is a part of the inclusive education. Okay, so that is his perception. So the importance of inclusive education, as we told, that any student who is having otherwise some kind of disability, but he deserves, he has the right to receive education. That is a part of responsibility of all the government. So if we can impart inclusive education, what it will yield is that the developing positive understanding. So that means in my classroom, if there is a student with disability, I don't think that he is creating some kind of disturbance, or because of him I am learning slowly. Those kind of feelings will not come in our mind. We will develop some kind of positive understanding about the student who is there in the class. Okay, and that will help me develop some kind of intimacy, like a friendship, or means peers, between peers. So with this mindset, we can help the other student to learn some academic skills, and if we do so, then the team, it will help fostering the teamwork. Okay, in the classroom as a team, we are given this task and we are doing this. We are developing some model, or say some kind of a demonstration. We are going to participate, or we are developing one musical program, whatever. So this activity, when I involve myself along with some student with special needs, that will help me to develop friendship towards the student, and also to do this, school should invite the parents. So this activity will also improve the parent participation, and will also get the feedback from the parents, and also from the parents, the teachers will easily understand that what are the other difficulties faced by this particular student with special needs when he is at home. So based on that, the teacher also tries to understand that how he should be handled into the classroom, and that greatly helps him imparting, that education in an efficient manner to the whole classroom, and the students, for the students also, it becomes easy to learn and grow. Okay, so all are basically moving forward. So by this joint work or team work or project work, the children learn to accept individual differences. Okay, so it is not that I just say that somebody is not able to hold the pen properly, so I laugh at him or I laugh at her. So instead of that, we develop some kind of intimacy, the friendship. He or she is my classmate, and we as a group we should we appreciate these differences, and we do this project work together. We learn together. Okay, so these characteristics of inclusive education, that is also very important, that from the principles and set of values which are there with the institute or college, we will understand whether they are able to maintain inclusive education or not. Okay, so this is not only for disabled student. That means there could be some student who is physically perfectly all right, but there are some other issues, some mental issues, or some other neuro related issues. So those students will also not be left out. Okay, that means it will be for all. So this is not only for a disabled student, but also for normal students. This discussion, this awareness program, and these principles and policies are very, very important and should be imparted. So this is basically the opposition of segregation. We don't want to segregate, make different groups or label. That is that's the thing which you don't want to do. And that will be our principle, and this practices of inclusivity will be welcoming to all the students. They will feel comfortable, they will appreciate these, and minimize the differences and increase their efficiency in doing work and solving problems and writing in the exams. So this diversity can be very well defined. That is basically when the students enter the school. After a few interactions, the teachers will be able to understand that what are the different diversity attributes there with this set of, say, 100 or 500 students. And then after properly defining those diversities, now we can move towards inclusivity by a little bit modifying or following our principles, and then practices, and take the students to the next level. So inside the class, the teacher should ensure that there is equal place for all. No one is sort of left out. Okay, and to do this job in a very nice and efficient manner, the school has to involve the parents and the nearby society, so that everybody develops some kind of a respect for the school, that okay, this school is unique in a sense that they treat equally the students with the normal students as well as students with special needs. Okay, so they will have confidence, and they will help in improving the reputation of the school. So it will be easy for the school to provide quality education. So now if we can finalize the objectives of inclusive education, we can say that the education for all, which is of utmost importance, that no one should be left out. All the students, irrespective of their needs, should receive a chance to admit to the school or college, and they should receive education. And by little bit of modification into the infrastructure and making student-friendly policies, we can improve the quality of education of all the students, irrespective of their different backgrounds. And once we are able to implement this inclusive education, we are able to protect human rights, because it's the right of all the students to receive education. Okay, so we can protect the human rights, And this inclusive education will foster the fellow feeling. Okay, like he's my friend, he's not somebody who is physically challenged and all these things. We develop the fellow feeling. So excuse me. So this special training by the teacher and his passion into the classroom and helping the students to do the teamwork jointly will prepare the students to tackle or take up new challenges in this ever-changing world. And also by this activity we can find out the skills which are important for those students, and we can identify the students who can be champion in those particular skills and provide special training to them, and so that they can excel and bring prestige, bring awards on the particular aspect of education or sports, and bring laurels for the school. Okay. So one thing is that as I told in the previous part, that there's funding is important, because the playground, the ramp, the classroom is should be made student friendly, or equals friendly for the student with special needs. So for implementing all these things, fund is required. So providing adequate support for diverse learning needs, that is very, very important. So we will also have to overcome the bias of the students, their parents, and the stereotypes. Okay, so even the parents of the normal students might be having some objections on some student in the school who is having some special needs. So in that, proper counseling, proper discussion and awareness program between the parents and the society and the school is very, very important. So that can be done by the teachers only, and school management can also invite some a doctor to assist them in taking some workshops, so that the bias in the minds of the parents is sort of removed. So and by this process also, the school, what it can ensure is that it can ensure equal opportunity for participation and attain success in the particular sports or academic exercises. Okay, so as I told you about the infrastructure, that takes time. So it's basically implementing this and making this inclusive education as a part of culture. It's time consuming and resource constrained. We need space, we need money, we need time from all the stakeholders, and most importantly, we need support from the management. If the management helps us to start, after that it is reluctant, or the faculty member who is doing a lot of effort is not being recognized or not appreciated, then we cannot go far in implementing this NEP 2020 or the inclusive education. Okay, so these basic elements of inclusive education consist of the human rights issues, education for all, then involving the parents, okay, and the curriculum which could be inclusive, means that will keep in mind the market scenario, what are the demand of jobs in the market, which is basically very dynamically changing, and at the same time the curriculum which will be conducive for the student with some special needs, that he can also adopt and learn quickly and do well in the exams. And to do that, we might have to take help from some TA, like teaching assistant or tutors, to take extra classes or extra tutorial sessions, so that more practice sessions can be arranged for the students, be it in the hostels or in the classrooms in afternoon sessions after the lab hours. So all those arrangements will help the school break the barrier and make this inclusive education friendly to any type of student who is coming from different background, might be having some needs, or normal student. For them it will be equally welcoming. Okay. So what we're going to teach, and also learn about different cultures and religions. Okay, and we have to choose the appropriate materials which will be required for the subject. The syllabus should be up to date and appropriate. For example, now I think many of you might know that the CBSE is revising the curriculum. So means we have not got the textbooks because they are not yet printed for the kids who have taken admission to schools. Maybe within next 1 week we'll get it. So this material is, study material should be continuously updated. And when we give the proper awareness program, then basically and involve the parents, then it will promote the social justice. Okay, so students will develop the fellow feeling. So so by detailed discussion with the parents also, they will it will help them to remove or reduce prejudice. So it will prevent the prejudice, and it will pave the way for dialogue. Okay, so let's discuss, and then ask your doubt, and then the teacher will try to help the students to remove their doubts, and through this path of inclusive education. So exploring, we can also explore multiple identities. Means one could be the student is this having these needs, and on the other hand, that might be the student might be excellent in some other pursuit, other activity. So then the school can help him to excel. Like some examples I gave about the Pablo Picasso or some other things, and there are many great scientists or people with different fields who were very much comfortable in the classroom, but otherwise they have excelled in their respective fields. And our objective will be to teach all the students whoever is coming to the school or college, so that no one is left out. Okay, so so we have to design this learning curriculum, pedagogical things, the syllabus, then their examples, definitions, and associated project work or some kind of industry visit and things like that. So what could be the strategies for inclusive education? So you should have universal design for learning, UDL. So you should create flexible instructional materials and methods to accommodate diverse learning styles and abilities. Okay, so as we know that there is no multiple entry, multiple exits are allowed. Undergraduation program is going to be for 4 years, the BSc 4-year research, BA 4-year research. So if you if you leave the program before completing 4 years, you might be given, if you complete after 2 years, you might be given some diploma or things like that. Something you will get. So so that means the curriculum will be a little bit flexible on the student. Okay. Then culturally responsive teaching. Culturally responsive teaching means the teacher should not be very biased towards his own culture or own language. He will be passionate about it, but he will not want to force it on the students, because students might be from different cultural background. So he should be culturally responsive. Okay, so there might be some good awareness sessions, so that every student learn to appreciate the religion, the culture, the language of other student into the classroom. So it will incorporate students' cultural backgrounds and experiences into the curriculum to make learning more relevant and engaging. Okay, so means we will not discriminate between two different types of religions or cultures or languages. That is not the job. Okay, everybody should be accommodated into the classroom, and that will help us to foster the collaborative learning, so encourage peer interaction and teamwork, to promote social inclusion and cooperative learning. So this peer interaction, that is already, I told you that teachers should facilitate that peer interaction, so that they can start this dialogue, start communication. So individualized support, that should be we should make an arrangement so that the tutor or teaching assistant spends more time with the student with some special needs and or his unique needs and strengths, and then he receives some kind of individualized support. And the positive behavior support, it will foster a supportive and inclusive classroom climate by reinforcing positive behavior and addressing conflicts constructively. That means when the students will have different mindset, different level of understanding, so it is and they start dialogue, start communicating, then it is quite natural that there will be conflicts. So we have to resolve the conflicts. The teacher will play a very important role here. He will try to resolve the conflict and make the classroom, friendly for all the peers, all the students. Okay, so so now it will be important for us to build the inclusive communities. So what will happen that in the classroom we do certain things, but what happens in the hostel, whether they're fighting or they're quarreling or there is heated discussion, we don't know. So beyond the classroom also, we should sort of develop this kind of an inclusive community, inclusive this atmosphere. So beyond the classroom, creating inclusive communities that engaging families and communities as partners in education. So it's very, very important for the college or the school to invite parents and local nearby society so that they can become stakeholders and take part in this inclusive development. Then providing professional development for educators on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So this training to the teachers is very, very important in that aspect. Then advocating for inclusive policies and practices at the institutional level. So that will be a continuous process. The institute policy that will be continuously updated, and training should be given to the teachers so that teachers can provide the best kind of training to the students in the context of inclusive education. So there was a school called Ankur Vidya Mandir. Their objective was to that inclusive education inclusivity will be intertwined into the education or training curriculum. Okay, so this is basically a successful inclusive education program or initiative. That example can be given by the teacher in the classroom. So showcasing its impact on student learning and community engagement. So this Ankur Vidya Mandir, they had this motto that it aims at starting, promoting, and sustaining activities that uphold and assist in integration of individuals with varying abilities into normal society. That means if they carry out their studies in this Vidya Mandir, after the studies is over, they get the degree and go out and come into the society or join some company or in the normal society, they will be treated as like a normal human being. That means they will learn how to overcome those lacuna, those special needs, and do their own work fairly efficiently, so that they might be considered as normal human being into the society. Okay, so in this context, there are some parameters which are sort of important for us, and how we are improving on that aspect. That is basically evident from the data which are presented here. So this is called a gross enrollment ratio at higher education institutions. So this is the age group of 18 to 23, and from 2016-17 up to 2020-21, we have taken the data for different like SC/ST students and all students, for male, female, and both. So for both the male and female, we see that there is an increase in the gross enrollment ratio. That means the total number of people at that age group of 18 to 23, and out of that, what is the percentage who are basically joining the college education? Okay, so one good thing is that there is the awareness for in the female students that is also expanding rapidly. Like it was 23.8% in 2016-17, but now it is about 28%. Okay, and for the male also 24 to 26.7, and there is a good sign that when a lady, when a woman becomes educated, then basically she will understand this, appreciate this, and try to make sure that other members of the family get proper education. Okay, and when she's married and goes to her in-laws' house, and there also whenever there is a small boy or girl, she ensures, because she appreciates that she knows the value of education, so she insists the junior people to enroll to the school, and which helps in improving the enrollment ratio, and then improving the awareness about the society, about our country, about the economics, about the global phenomena, and so on and so forth. Okay, so apart from this gross enrollment ratio, there is another important definition that is called the eligible enrollment ratio, EER. Okay, so there is a global comparison. So this picture is very, very important for us. That the blue that bar that shows the gross enrollment ratio for a specific country, and the brown one shows it for this eligible enrollment ratio So suppose take the same age group of say for example 18 to 23 years old. So out of that, in this age group, suppose 100 students qualified or got a passing marks in the say 10+2. Okay, and out of them, say for example for UK 64.2 that percentage or 64% are joining the colleges for their undergraduate education. So then we call it they call this eligible employment ratio, enrollment ratio. So if you compare from USA, Germany, France to say India, South Africa, Pakistan, we see that particularly for the developing countries like Indonesia, India, and so on and so forth, we see that this gross enrollment ratio is less. Okay, but the good thing is that this eligible enrollment ratio, that is very good. For example, for India, it is about 64%, and that is equivalent to that of UK. Okay, so we're not very far behind. So that means people who are qualifying into the exam, the 10+2, they're passing, they're getting passing grades, and out of them, about 60-65% students are joining the colleges for their undergraduate education. That means they are already appreciating the importance of higher education, that if they don't get this higher education, they may not get proper jobs. Okay, so that is very, very important. So scientists and educationists say that this eligible enrollment ratio is very, very important aspect, especially more relevant aspect for countries like India. Okay, so we also have the student diversity data where you see that when you compare this female and male participation, then we see that they mostly they have this almost fair representation, like about 50-55%, like in this for MPhil, it is more of female, less of male. But now, as per NEP 2020, the government is abolishing this MPhil. So in case of PhD, you see that almost fair representation. Then there is this undergraduate. There is also, it's close to 50% male, 50% female. That means the female community, they have also understood the importance of education, and more girls are coming, and their government is also bringing a lot of schemes for them. For example, yesterday I saw that there is a I think DST, it is WISE, woman scientist, means girls, or you can say women whose age limit is from 27 to 45. They can enroll to PhD program funded by DST. Okay, so that means at a later age also, if you wish, you can get scholarship. You can do PhD. You can further your learning and your education and contribute to the teaching research field of the country. Okay, so so these are very, very encouraging signs which we feel. So though we talk about the pedagogical practices, then basically these are learner centered. So it's not the teacher centered, it's learner centered. Means we have to focus on the aspects which will help the students to learn at a faster rate, grasp the subjects. So we have to improve the curriculum, improve the pedagogy. So earlier it was teacher centric, now we're going towards learner centric methods. So there will be more of discussions, group work, tutorials, practical exercises, and so on and so forth, and maybe some field experience, field work also. Now we will help the students develop the analytical skills also, like how they are processing information, some kind of that knowledge transmission. They are told to give some lecture. After giving some information, you read this page or 1 or 2 pages, and after 30 minutes you give a presentation. So how they are processing their information, then they are delivering their how we help them inculcate the critical and analytical thinking skills, developing creativity and knowledge construction, and so on and so forth. Okay, and as I told you 1 or 2 times, that our objective is to minimize the achievement gaps among students, like student with a normal student and student with some special need. Their achievement might be significantly different if we, just think about the normal students. But if we, try to implement the inclusive education and it is learner-centric approach, then definitely that achievement gaps will be, narrow. That means we are sort of successful in implementing this inclusive education. Now, technological, pedagogical content knowledge. So nowadays, there's a lot of, that MWC, MOOC kind of things where one teacher is teaching to a very, very large group. After, for 15-20 minutes, then there are tutorial sessions, and we are taking help of, technology, and that is happening rapidly throughout the world. And mostly after the corona, the lockdown, this thing flourished like anything. Okay. Now it is also, when the schools are also in physical mode, but still sometimes the teachers take extra class through Google Classroom. That I have seen for my kids who are in DPS. So that I believe for many schools they are also doing the same thing. So we are taking the help of technology to better, to provide better, learner-centered education. Like then mentor-mentee system, that we will be the mentors, and the mentee means the students who will receive some instructional teaching from us, and we will be ready to help them, and that will bring positive attitudinal development into those students. Okay. There is something called Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan SSA. So this is a small story about a boy who had to leave some education at a very small age. So this is, let me read this story. So, life of despair. My name is S. Vijay. I belong to a very poor family. My family's economy compelled me to discontinue my studies before I could complete 6th standard during the year 2011 and 12. In order to help my mother, I started working as a salesperson. Renaissance. At this juncture, I was identified by the supervisor and block resource teacher educator of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. During their survey in our area, they gave counseling to me and my mother and explained the significance of education to us. As we both were convinced and got interested in continuing my education, they admitted me in standard 6 in the special training center at Adi Dravidar Welfare Primary School campus in Milagu Padai, Trichy district. My guru, I must mention here the earnest efforts of the educational volunteer Mrs. Uma, who took special care of me and encouraged me to involve in studies. So I gradually got interest in studies and started learning to read and write. Sorry. She also taught me painting as well as making handicrafts. After the completion of special training, I was enrolled in Adi Dravidar Welfare Higher Education Secondary School. My achievement and gratitude, I regularly attended the school, and now I have completed 10th standard successfully, scoring 294 marks. The special training given to me was very much helpful to me, and I am happy to extend my thanks to all the SSA staff and educational volunteer who guided me to lead my life in the right path towards a bright future. So these are happening in different parts of the country. So we have to bring those success stories into our classroom so that students get motivated and they develop some fellow feeling that okay, we together we can make that inclusive education a reality. Okay, so now as there is resource crunch, funding problems, and issues might be related to space and all. So as teachers, we should be aware about the problems and how we can address those issues. So one or two issues which came in my mind, I just noted down so that it helps the teachers tackle in the appropriate platform. So one important aspect is maintaining a healthy student to teacher ratio. Okay, so in this table, I'm presenting this ratio, student to teacher ratio, for different countries. Like in Canada, it is 9:1, Russia 10:1, Sweden, UK, China, and ultimately in India, it is 24:1. So that's some kind of average value. So even if in my classroom there are more than 100 students, so when the student strength is very, very high in a classroom, then it is very, very challenging for the teacher to impart the individual attention. So sometimes it happens that students is left out, and sort of feel some kind of isolated or lack of belonging. So that's as a teacher we should understand that this ratio should be as low as possible to have very nice interaction between the teacher and the student. Okay, so this is possible only if there is regular recruitment of teachers or professors. So for that, the management is responsible, and they should put the request to state government if it is a government school. And more than that, we can't do probably. But in private schools, they can sort of convince the higher management to to implement NEP 2020. We need this many teachers, so please recruit and all these things. Sometimes delay in receiving government funds, that also creates some hindrance in developing the infrastructure, which is very, very essential for accommodating students with special needs. And in many institutions, they may not have this teaching learning cell. Then basically we don't create the facility to receive the feedback if TLC is not there. So then some individual teacher might be out of his own interest taking feedback, but for the overall school or overall college, the process becomes slow. Means process of improvement, process of implementing those dimensions of index, etc. And sustained policy support. That means in a particular state, suppose there is a change of government, but still the next government should appreciate the importance of NEP 2020 and continue the support in terms of policy as well as other things like the fund, recruitment of teachers, this infrastructure, and so on and so forth. So in this context, there was an important study on inclusive education. So this inclusive education by teachers to the development of the social and emotional competencies of their students in secondary education. So that was some study done by some teachers in the professors in Spain. This published in this Journal of Learning and Instruction. So this involved a couple of 294 teachers and 3550 of the students. They have studied this emotional and social competency of the students. So new insights on teachers' role in their students' learning process that was observed. The inclusive education favors the students' social and emotional competencies. Okay, like in the classroom, if I just if the student doesn't understand and raises questions, and then if I become angry, then basically this is not the part of inclusive education. So this doesn't help in developing the social and emotional competency of the student. But if I think in the direction of inclusive education, then basically I help the student to learn and ask questions and get the doubts cleared. So that helps. It helps the in the development of social and emotional competency of the student. Okay, so finally, coming to the conclusions part, embracing student diversity is essential for creating inclusive learning environments where all students can thrive. And there's no doubt about it, because we are taking all the students along with us. Now, by implementing strategies for inclusive education and fostering inclusive communities, we can build a more equitable and enriching educational experience for everyone. Okay, so I think yeah, thank you. So let me just minimize the presentation and couple of questions I can take, because we have some time out here. So now, yeah, I got some so okay, there's a professor called Kingshuk Karan. He, just one second. So let me just read a couple of questions. Like he wrote that in my class most of the students are from economically very weaker section and first generation learner. Okay, students cannot afford every day's bus fare and tiffin, so they frequently absent in class. How do I tackle this situation? So maybe you can talk to the local panchayat that if some kind of free bus service for them. I guess they have to just show the I-card, and the panchayat can arrange for some food, because this is a very, very important issue, that if they cannot carry tiffin or they don't have the money along with them to book the bus ticket, then it's difficult for them to come. So So maybe you can make some kind of funding where some pass out students, their parents contribute some small amount, and then you can also approach some local companies to contribute something, because the companies, they have certain CSR fund, corporate social responsibility, but they will spend based on their own choices, and sometimes it's a political pressure. They will listen to some politician. So if there's a good politician in your nearby areas, you can request him to pursue the matter with some local companies, and then you can get some funding. But it's a very burning issue that they should have this basic minimum thing to be able to come to school. So another thing could be done, that taking help of technology, like some classes can be taken. Maybe school can arrange for some low-cost smartphones. So with one smartphone, maybe 2 to 3 or 4 students can attend the online lectures, where the teacher is sitting in the school taking the class, and the students from their remote area, they are trying to, maybe network should be there, they're trying to attend the class, ask the question, maybe on Saturday or Sundays. Maybe to some extent we are able to impart the education to those students. Yeah, that's a very nice point told by Dr. Sita Mittal, that you can use multimedia approach. Yeah, very true. Then one point is true, inclusive classroom teaching is possible with small group of. Yeah, it's very true. Now that with the a few years back, government is implemented that 27% OBC quota, and after that 10% compulsory quota for girls, then EWS quota. So now the student strength in the class is very high, and proportionately we don't hire the faculty members. So I am teaching one course. There are about 240 students. So there are 2 faculty members, 2 sections. In one section we have 120 students. So, and out of that, every class there will be about 60-70 students, if I am strict. So the individual interaction becomes very rare. That is one challenge which we all recognize, and maybe some extra classes or tutorial sessions taken by the tutors or TA, that could help. But at the same time, students should also develop some interest, because if he thinks that okay, this subject is part of my curriculum, but this subject will not help me in getting a job, then he is not motivated. But on the other hand, as a teacher, I'm given this subject, given this syllabus to be covered within about 39-40 lectures in a semester, January to April. So I should do justice to my job. So I'm teaching this course, but the student is not motivated. So it will be very challenging situation for me to teach them, keep myself motivated, and conduct the exam and give them grades. So those challenges are there. Okay. Okay, I thank Dr. Bhamshi Krishna for your nice words. So what about the feedback? Is the link now opening?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Actually, yesterday's feedback form, I couldn't do it because of network issue. So how it will be?
Okay, so okay, just 1 second. Let me talk to the staff and I'll come back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so yeah, that is not a problem, because sometimes it happens, the network issue. So that there won't be any problem for you. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. So it will be available in the next classes, huh? The same link, first class link, feedback form.
Per day waging.
It is sent you on per day basis. So for today you fill, and you keep on filling for tomorrow also. No problem for yesterday not able to fill. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, I thank you for your patient hearing, because as a teacher sitting for 3 hours is not that very easy for anyway, some question is that today's feedback form is not opening. So is it, did you check your network? Some the link is open. Okay, so I think
हो रहा है open तो हो रहा है.
Okay. So Janmajay Kumar Singh, please refresh your browser and try again. For the other participants, they are able to open the link and give the feedback. Okay. So if
hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, like Nisha ma'am says, I also wanted to give feedback for yesterday's, Dr. Ajit sir. So I just opened the link now, but it is available for today's feedback only. So
Yeah.
how I can access,
So now it will not be problem. For yesterday you could not do, so don't bother about it, because that now today you will get it for today only. Okay. But that will not create any problem for you to getting the final certificate and all these things. No issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Then.
So okay, so I wish you all the best in completing this 8-day session.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and on a positive note, we'll together we can impart good teaching towards our students, irrespective of their own levels. And the TLC will help us in conducting future workshops also for the teachers, and keep visiting us. Okay, so good night to all of you.